Hello everyone, welcome back in my channel. So today I am here with a new topic of educational psychology. The topic is totally based on learning theory. So today I am going to expose the another theory of conditioning. In previous class we have learned that conditioning theory also based two types. Number one, Pavlov classical conditioning, and number two, Skinner operant conditioning. So today we will discuss about the conditioning theory of Pavlov classical conditioning theory. So at first know about the Pavlov. Pavlov. So the Pavlov was a American psychologist, and he also born in 26 September 1849, and after that he involves his work and he awarded the degree of conditioning natural science in 1875, and as well as he also awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology of or Medicine in 1904. So, and he also died in 27 February 1936. So, this is his total work in his life. So, now we are going to his theory of conditioning. So we know that the Pavlovian theory also based on the classical conditioning. So classic means it's old concept. So Pavlov in his theory decided two types of conditioning like stimulus and response. So one is stimulus and another is response. So now we are going to disclose the what is stimulus and what is this response. At first we know about the stimulus. The Pavlov say about the stimulus is a things or over the evokes a specific practice is in the organ. So stimulus is a practice in an organ and it must be specific. And Pavlov comments about on response. So response is a reaction. So response is a reaction as that of and the organism or mechanism is to specific stimulus. So he also clarified the two types of conditioning according to Pavlov is totally based on stimulus and response. After that he also disclosed that what is conditioning. Classical conditioning is a learning process. So classical conditioning is a learning process that occurs through associations between the environment stimulus and naturally occurring stimulus. So this is the whole process of conditioning conducted in his theory. So now we know about the stimulus and response theory. Pavlov also decided this learning theory or conditioning theory classified in three major types. So learning through association is called Pavlovian classical conditioning theory, as well as learning through consequences is based on Skinner operant conditioning, and learning through observation modeling is also based on the Bandura observation theory. So these three these three major types of learning he also categorizes this. Now we know about the examination or experiment of Pavlov conditioning theory. He selected a dog for his experiment and he also set a stage for a experiment. And a specific time he also give a bell, and that times the dog also came and get the food. But before he get the food, he took condition before. So at first he also give some food. So in this year the food is totally unconditioned stimulus. That times he create response, and his response is celebration, and this time his response is totally unconditioned response. Now we can frame that the dogs eat the food naturally. So before the conditioning, framing this, we can framing this conditioning as before conditioning. So at first before conditioning, a dog naturally take the food is called unconditioned stimulus, and he that times his response is salivation, or that time his response is salivation. So that salivation is the unconditioned response. Next day he create this examination or a experiment again. So next day he also natural stimulus like bell, and he also ringing the bell or whistle as a natural stimulus, and after that the dog act as conditioning response. So next day he conducted during response, and during the conditioning, and next day he also create the during conditioning. So he also ringing the bell, and after that give his food, and the reaction of the dog is he is salivated. Number day of 4, or then, or we can say that the after conditioning, when the Pavlov ringing the bell and the dog reaction is salivation, this times is food totally out. So today we have learned about the Pavlov biography, about the Pavlov conditioning, about the conditioning, about the experiment or examination of conditioning theory. So next day we will explain the principles of classical conditioning, and as well as the educational implications of classical conditioning. So class, today I quit this session here. Next day I will discuss the another parts of classical conditioning. So take care. Bye.